Welcome to Splendid Tales, where stories don't just entertain, they expose, awaken, and shake the soul. If you're ready for a ride that burns with truth, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe before we begin, because this story, this one, will rattle you. The ballroom glittered with ego and entitlement, a palace of polished cruelty wrapped in tuxedos and pearls. It was the Mercer Foundation Gala, where power drank champagne and pretended it had a conscience. And right at the center of that golden lie stood Selena Ward, a black woman whose grace made the chandeliers seem dim. She wasn't born rich, she earned her shine. Her charity had lifted hundreds out of poverty, her name whispered with respect in circles that used to ignore people like her. But Grant Mercer didn't like being ignored. The fourth generation heir of arrogance, he strutted across the marble floor like he owned oxygen. When Selena brushed off his smug joke with a simple smile, his pride cracked like cheap glass. And then he did it. With one shove, hard enough to echo through the silence, he sent her sprawling backward into the crystal blue pool. The crowd gasped. Phones rose. Cameras flashed. The water exploded, her gown floating, her dignity dripping off her like rain. And Grant, with a smirk curling his lips, lifted his glass. Guess she finally found her level, he sneered. If you're feeling that burn in your chest right now, don't forget to like and subscribe. You'll need strength for what's coming. By sunrise, humiliation had gone viral. Billionaire shoves black philanthropist into pool. The clip replayed on every screen. Grant's smirk, Selena's fall, the collective gasp of 1,000 silent cowards. Talk shows tore her apart. Some called her too dramatic. Others said maybe she provoked him. The world that once praised her now dissected her like a scandal. Yet, while they argued, Selena showed up, soaked in dignity instead of designer fabric. The next morning, she walked into her youth center, hair tied back, no makeup, serving breakfast to the same kids she promised to protect. Miss Selena, a little boy asked, tugging her sleeve, "Did that man hurt you?" She smiled softly. "He didn't hurt me, sweetheart. He just showed the world who he really is." Behind the scenes, her husband Daniel Ward was watching, quiet, strategic, calculating. He'd been Mercer's trusted consultant once, the architect behind some of his billion-dollar deals. Now he watched the man who destroyed his wife's dignity brag over cigars, calling her that dramatic do-gooder who got wet. But Daniel's silence wasn't surrender. It was strategy, the kind of silence that builds storms. Selena believed in grace. Daniel believed in balance, and he was about to restore it. Before we dive deeper into this quiet storm, tell me, if you saw that moment live, would you have stepped in or stayed silent like the others? Drop your thoughts and don't forget to like and subscribe if you're still with Splendid Tales. Weeks passed. The internet's rage moved on to fresher scandals, but Daniel hadn't. By day, he smiled beside Selena, keeping her spirit alive. By night, he dug through shadows, encrypted servers, offshore accounts, digital skeletons of a Selena. Mercer thought he buried in tax havens and fake charities. Daniel still had the keys, the codes, the backdoors he once built for Mercer's empire. Every click of his keyboard was a promise, not revenge, justice. Selena didn't pry. She simply placed a hand on his shoulder one night and said, "Whatever you're planning, make sure it builds, not breaks." Her words lingered, and Daniel smiled faintly. "Oh, it'll build something, all right, a legacy." Meanwhile, Grant Mercer flaunted his arrogance like armor. He hosted private dinners mocking the incident, boasting how people love drama, even joking that Selena should thank him for the publicity. His friends laughed, not because it was funny, but because money made fear louder than conscience. But one man at that table, a journalist, recorded everything. He owed Daniel a favor. That recording would soon leak to the very networks Mercer funded. The universe was loading its aim. At home, Daniel stared at his screen, a folder labeled Mercer Files, The Fall. The final piece was ready. Selena walked in, kissed his temple, and whispered, "Truth doesn't need revenge to win." He looked up, eyes calm. Then truth is about to roar. If you're loving this build-up, hit like and subscribe. The morning arrived like Judgment Day. News anchors' voices trembled as the screen blazed with headlines. Federal investigation targets Mercer Global. Anonymous whistleblower exposes billionaire's web of corruption. Thousands of leaked files, names, dates, transactions, every dirty dollar laid bare. Offshore accounts, fake relief funds, bribed senators, it was all there, signed and sealed by Grant Mercer himself. And alongside it, the viral replay, his laughter as Selena fell into that pool. Within hours, his board resigned. Stock prices plunged like stones. The same men who once toasted him now deleted his number. Cameras crowded his mansion as federal agents walked through his gates. Mercer stumbled out, handcuffed, face pale, arrogance gone. Reporters shouted questions. Do you regret what you did to Selena Ward? He couldn't answer. The world already had one. Across town, outside the courthouse, Selena stood in a simple white suit, radiant, calm, untouchable. Daniel stood beside her, the quiet architect of justice. Reporters swarmed, microphones thrust forward. Mrs. Ward, how does justice feel? She smiled, her voice steady as a sunrise. This was never about revenge, it was about respect for everyone who's ever been told they don't belong. That quote became legend. Her foundation tripled in donations. Schools added her story to their ethics programs. And as Grant Mercer disappeared into silence, Selena Ward became a symbol of grace that refused to drown. Thank you for watching Splendid Tales. Tell me, which character did you feel for the most, and what twist shocked you the hardest?